or read in the newspaper.
Boyd says he doesn't really care where Watson's trial is eventually held, just so it isn't held in California. In the meantime, Watson follows the progress of the proceedings in Los Angeles from the Collin County Courthouse. This is Gene Thomas, Channel 8 News on the Move in McKinney.
A definition of a birth defect is a malformation or defect in body chemistry, except those injuries occurred at birth itself. Now, these can be either of a hereditary nature, which we call genetic, or it can be of an environmental nature. And this means it's something that occurs to the infant, the fetus, before birth. A drug that the mother takes, like thalidomide that we're all familiar with, LSD also, marijuana, these things.
The title of this meeting is the Superintendent's Conference. Just what is your message to the principals?
Well, we would have as one goal the maintenance of our present District Communications Committee. That's a committee, as you know, in which all employee groups have representation, a group that meets regularly to discuss common problems. We would hope to expand that and have as our goal the establishment of a teacher advisory group in each of our 183 schools for the 70-71 school year. These advisory committees to work with and through the principal and assist in developing appropriate policies for the local school.
Have you had any feedback from principals on setting up teacher advisory committees in their schools?
I think that good principals have done this sort of thing for a long time. What we're doing now is suggesting that it be formalized.
While President Nixon's statement about the Manson trial has caused spectacular events to occur in that courtroom in Los Angeles and affected possibly some of the jurors and all of the defendants and witnesses, one might wonder whether it's affected Charles Watson. Charles Watson has been housed in the Collin County Jail since his arrest shortly after the Sharon Tate murders occurred. In an effort to determine whether he knew about President Nixon's statement, I made a visit to the jail. Officials there said they just didn't know. I also asked Watson's attorney, Bill Boyd of McKinney.
I feel like that in Watson's case, it will make it even more difficult than it already was for him to find a jury in the state of California that can judge his case based on the evidence.
Well, my initial reaction is that I'd like to see the total report to see whether or not this is taken out of context and whether or not the so-called leaks that were reported are accurate.
Assuming that the reports are accurate and that this is the finding of the commission, how is this going to affect, both in Dallas and nationwide, what appears to be a crackdown on pornography?
I'm not sure it will affect it at all. I think it might bring some of the silent majority out and maybe put the congressman on the spot.
Do you think there will be objections to the conclusions drawn in this report?
I don't think there's any doubt about it, if these are the correct conclusions.
Mr. Speaker, we have one of the committees of the House that will be coming to Tarrant County very shortly. Would you care to tell us about it?
Art, it's a pleasure to tell you about it. Some weeks ago, you and I visited concerning this committee, and Representative Joe Allen's committee on juvenile problems, juvenile crime, and mentally retarded will be holding a hearing in Tarrant County in the very near future. I've talked to my chairman about this matter. I know there's a certain amount of interest in Tarrant County on this particular subject, and this is kind of the way we like to handle these interim committees. We like to get as much material, as many facts, and we're looking for good witnesses.
Well, I think that we have the feeling, generally, who have been in administration for a number of years, that when we share power, we lose power. But my experience has been that when you let people with whom you work influence your decisions, you do not lose power, you gain power. And I think as we let teachers and parents influence us in the decision-making process, we too will gain power in the management of our school program.
Six Flags Mall is the largest shopping center in Tarrant County, the area's first regional shopping facility, and the second largest such complex in Texas. 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been possible to construct the facility. There were barely that many businesses between Dallas and Fort Worth. The mall has almost 100 different stores and businesses now. More than just a shopping facility, the mall is also an economic indicator. It seems to refute the contention that the Mid-Cities area is being severely affected by the national economic slump. Despite that slump, Six Flags Mall was crowded today as soon as the doors opened. People have money to spend, and if the mall is any adequate indication, they're eager to spend it. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move at Six Flags Mall.